Hey, it's Ryan with QLZ. We are back in the green room. We are, I think this is the first time since we've got, you guys wouldn't know this, but we used to be on a different dial. We were on 97.7. We're back to 92, which is our original home. And I think this is the first time we've gone international on any interview since we're back on 92.7. We're talking with Alise and Max. They are from a band called Rising Alma, who you'll hear on the Art Spotlight next week and in Berlin. So how you both doing?
Hey,
Hey.
we're doing great. It's a little bit later evening, but it's a very sunny and nice day. So yeah, and thanks for having us. Really excited.
Yeah, we're happy to be
Absolutely. Absolutely. The track that you all put out off the new album, Cracking the Moment, track called Games, is the one that we're going to have in the Artist Spotlight coming up here on Tuesday, September 2nd. And like I told you, for our listeners, it's 8:30 in the morning our time, 1:30 in the afternoon, 7:30 in the evening, and you're all 7 hours ahead of us. So I already did the conversion once, so I'll just tell everybody, hey, it's 7 hours ahead of us. It's a track we're excited to play, and obviously, anytime we play a new track, we highlight a new band on the station. You know, we always like to know a little bit about the song. So, what would the both of you like to share about this track? What's something you'd like our listeners, your fans, to know about the song?
Yeah, so I guess it's my task a bit. I
Mhm.
would say that the song really started with guitar riff, as might you hear. So this guitar riff kind of was driving us, and then for me, I think this guitar riff really resonated with the theme of game. Like it kind of felt like this Nintendo games,
Mhm.
somehow. And I think somewhere in me, I felt like, oh, this song should be about the game dynamic, like with people, like manipulation a little bit, and
Mhm.
clarity and stuff like that. And I felt always like kind of struggling in my life with these kind of dynamics, and I just was wanted to express it. Yeah, and I think this song was very visual for me. Immediately, I could you if you saw the lyric video, it kind of a little bit represents how I would visualize it in a fun way, like serious subject, but kind of a little bit in a more fun way, shown in these games and Tetris or whatever. People are so distracted by anything else but what really matters, and I think it shows it very nicely. And yeah, that's from my part. So yeah. But musically, it came together pretty easily for us. Yeah, it's the kind of song that just was flowing from the beginning. I think because it was so easy to visualize and imagine. Yeah, it was fun to create it. Oh yeah.
And I'm glad you referenced the video because it's got the controllers in there. It's got the Nintendo controllers and all that. So, and obviously, and I like the fact that you mentioned, I think you can kind of tell it's it's a serious subject. You're kind of, it seems like, I kind of took it a lot of head games is kind of how I took it from my angle of everything. But I enjoyed not really tongue in cheek, but kind of the less serious nature of the video where it's playing video games, because I play video games. A lot of my friends, all did. There's certain games and stuff I like. Do either
Yeah.
one of you play games? Are either one of you gamers at all, or any of you play any kind of video games?
We are not gamers, right?
No, actually, no.
But I did play PlayStation a lot as a
Okay.
child with my
Okay.
brother. So I have the idea, and I was really, yeah. But yes, you got it in the way that I actually was intending it. But I mean, I didn't want to make it only about like the mind games, but I wanted to also put the pressure on this kind of cooperation, not like saying video games are bad or something it is, but
Yeah.
just the principle. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be video games. It can be like whatever, even hobbies, or phones or internet. But just to make that attention that something so simple can distract us from the people around us, and make us not notice the way that we treat them. And I think that's what I want to bring about it in some physical form. So yeah.
All right. You mentioned you played PlayStation, so I have to ask you: is there a certain game that you loved playing on PlayStation? That's pretty much
Okay.
since the N64. Once I went to the N64, I was a PlayStation guy after that.
Yeah.
So what some of those favorite games on PlayStation for you?
All right, let's start with the softer version. So I really liked Sims as a girl, growing
Okay.
up, right? But I also really liked San Andreas. I
Okay.
was
All
quite
right.
into it, yes. So yeah, every time I see those memes on Instagram, I'm like, oh my God, I did this, I did
Like we
this
got
bad thing.
Yeah. Like, are you
Um,
patiently waiting for Grant? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
you know how San Andreas, and especially when you're a kid, you're like learning to be very impatient with everything, like just. So yeah,
Well, now
that
everybody's
was
doing-
with my brother. We did the fighting games also together. You know, there is like the one that was in our video. This guy was from the game.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
Oh,
Mortal
yeah.
Kombat. Yeah, so stuff like that. And what you were into?
For me, what was I into?
Yeah, what's for you? Yeah.
So Mortal Kombat was the game that we had to hide from my parents when I was a kid because I was you're a 10-year-old kid and people are getting their heads chopped off and setting on fire and everything else. You don't want the parents to see that very much. So I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. That's my franchise. We have college football back. I'm a big college football fan. So like getting college football games back is been huge here in the States for a lot of people. But like story wise and everything, Assassin's Creed. I've been hooked since the first one. I'm like 2 games behind right now. There's like 13 or 14 games in the franchise, and I'm sunk. I'll be there till the end. I'm like, I got to see how it ends. I don't know when it's ending, but I got to see how it ends at some point.
The visual aspect can be really interesting, right? I saw a little glimpse of the Last One of Us game, and I think that makes me realize that. Oh, but it's quite. It's definitely like a very creative world, and yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but
Max,
I have no time.
Any games for you, Max? Or you just like that? Never ever got into it.
No, I used to play when I was a child. Yes, but I had like first of all like a Spectrum computer back in the 80s. I was playing like Double Dragon, like very old stuff.
We used to have to do that as a kid. There was like the DOS system, and we'd have to like type in code to like play Lemmings. I don't know if you heard Lemmings. There was a Star Wars game we had as a kid that was like, and you try to tell anybody now that's like under the age of like 25 and they had like zero idea what you're talking about for anything. It's like, yeah, at some point we had, this joystick that had one button on it that we had to, play games on and everything else.
Yeah.
You got the old school stuff on there. But I know Cracking the Moment's new album you guys put out, that just came out this past Friday with everything. It's an interesting world where, singles kind of rule everything. I still, my drive, I grew up in Ohio, so my drive back's about 7 hours to get from where I grew up and went home and visited family to come back here. So I'm like, okay, that's a good time for me to dive in a couple albums that are out there that I haven't listened to in like months. So why was the right moment for you guys just to continue to do the album route on everything?
Well, I could definitely say that I am an album person. Let's say like that. I always was, because when I really started listening to rock, the only way I could really explore a band was if I bought the album and actually listened to it from the beginning until the end. And if I liked most of the songs, I could consider this like a band I like, and then I would buy another CD. So that was a culture I grew up in. So I think that it just taught me something in this era where you everything feels like just so quick, you don't pay attention much, and I don't know, I still believe that an album should be like a journey, and I really enjoy it. Like I still enjoy listening to a band's album as a following up journey instead of just picking up songs from different artists. Like from my perspective, it's just that's the reason I would say I really believe still in albums. So yeah.
What are some songs maybe that, I know the album just came out on Friday. People are probably just starting to dive into it. Like I told you, I just got back from vacation. There's more albums I got to dive into. What are some songs? Obviously, Games, like I said, Games, the one that we're featuring on the air September 2nd for us here. What are some songs in the album that you're like, man, I can't wait for fans? If anybody hasn't checked it out yet, obviously I'm sure they're all special in their own way, but are there any that kind of stand out where you're like, I can't wait for people to hear maybe this one or this one?
Yeah, you can listen to Underestimate Me. That's the second single of the album. We also did a music video for that one. You can check on YouTube.
Okay.
I think it's a very cool song, special for us. That's why we chose to do the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Underestimate Me, definitely. We chose it for a reason for second single. But as I say, I feel like the album is so dynamic. It's hard to just pick a song, right? Because we never write the music in one way. But for me, it definitely was Innocence as well, because it spoke to a topic that I really believe that should be spoke more. It's about fatherlessness, and I think it's something that I just wish that people that experience it could also listen, and I feel like they could get a feeling like, okay, you're not the only one. You know, someone really feels these emotions and the depth of it too. Yeah, from my perspective, that would be that.
Yeah. When you touch on subjects like that, not everybody always kind of talks about, and I feel like the last couple of years, like I've interviewed a lot of bands, and some have talked about how they're sharing their most vulnerable songs they've ever shared, or the most personal ones to them. And they're like, man, the reactions we've got, the messages we've gotten from listeners and fans and stuff has been great. Have you kind of seen that with the album being out now, and obviously touching on subjects that, can be really, hard to talk about and discuss? Have you found people kind of reaching out and being like, hey, this really spoke to me?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I really wish to hear more about like a specific song, but people overall always like tend to tell us like that, oh, we're really happy that you not only make music that is nice to listen, but that the lyrics speak to them. So a lot of times they say this. They say that the lyrics have meaning, or the lyrics also are good. Like the lyrics also, bring out something. So I'm really happy to hear it. But yeah, now I'm thinking like if someone has really come to me and tell, oh, this song exactly, because it's pretty fresh. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's my dream. I mean, I that's always I'm kind of expecting that someone notices, those topics, and yeah. But even you said about the games that you understand this topic and it kind of resonated. So yeah, these moments definitely happen. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's great. And again, I know it's hard, like some bands, it's hard to put ourselves out there and everything, but we're kind of glad we did now because, and I would imagine it's very hard to put yourself out there for certain subjects and whatnot. So again, like you mentioned, Games is the song that we have in the Art of Spotlight coming up here September 2nd. We'll have everything posted WQLZ.com after it goes on the air. Kind of what's the rest? It's weird. We're almost in fall here. We only have a couple weeks of summer left. It's kind of crazy that we're this year's 2/3 of the way over. With everything, kind of what does the rest of this year look like for Rising Alma, for the band? Do you have more shows coming up, or kind of or anything whatever you're allowed to share at this point? Kind of what does the rest of this year look like for you both in the band?
Yes. More practical, tactical. No, I mean we are planning to definitely. We always create. We are, yeah. That's what I was allowed to say, that we always create music, and yeah. But yes, we're definitely planning to play now more in Berlin, just locally, and we are planning also hoping to make a tour in Germany or maybe in Europe.
Next year.
Okay.
That's news. It's news to you next year. So
I'm gonna say because you're like, let's go, But yeah, okay, next year.
What are some of the places like in Europe? So Europe, it's my dad's side of the family moved here from Italy like 100 years ago. So obviously Italy's a big place for me to try to get to and visit one day and kind of see where some of my family and whatnot came from. For all of you, I know like traveling in Europe, it's like you can be in a different country quicker than it can take me to sometimes get to a different state somewhere. Like when you go on tour, when you want to do this tour next year, like what are some of the countries, some of the areas that you're like, man, we really kind of hope to get here? Is there any kind of on that bucket list where you're like, we really want to try to play a show here?
I do.
Yeah.
Like it's not really, I mean, part of the European Union, but not close enough, UK. So we have a bunch of contacts there, and that people that invite us. So for me, I always find the UK rock scene very, how to say, nice and supportive, and also I really like how they pick the music itself. I don't know, I just get the way that they see it, and I would also like to play in Latvia because I come from there.
Okay.
Well, yeah, so that would be great. But any country, of course.
Yeah, we live in Germany that has the biggest population in Europe, so we are happy to tour around Germany. But I guess UK is also a nice place that we would like to go. And also like all North Europe has a very big rock scene, Scandinavian countries. That would be nice.
So
yeah, anywhere that they welcome us, actually, yeah, I would say like that.
So what is the rock and metal scene like in Germany? What is it like for somebody who's obviously never been there? Because I'm living in different states, working in radio in different states, we can kind of tell you what's kind of like, and some of the local bands and some of the bands that kind of come through. And the places that get behind new artists and whatnot. So like, what's the scene like in Berlin? Is there good places to go when you're a new band and trying to get out there for stuff? Kind of what's the local music scene like?
You start.
I don't know if Berlin is the best place to be. It's a very big city, but there's also a lot of bands, many bands, and it's kind of difficult to get through. Also, I would say the rock scene in Berlin is not so big as you would expect.
Okay.
But for sure, there is a scene. There are like rock bars and everything. It's just kind of not so easy. But I guess this is like in every country, more or less the same. That it's not so easy to get through.
We yet have to experience how it is really in different countries, but I will agree. I will agree, but I also want to say that there is a good side of Berlin, that there are always places to play, and they happen events, like festivals. We played in amazing Fête de la Musique, in amazing like theater garden, like this summer, for example. There were so many people, and so I would say that there are always things happening. So yes, the bad side is that there's always things happening, maybe, and people not so much pay. They are so like curious, you know what I mean. But at the same time, yeah, some people still can notice you if you do it consistently, and yeah, it can do a good effect. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I know you mentioned it was important for this is a question I have for both of you. It's the question I ask anytime a band comes on for the first time, because I still like getting full albums. I just like diving into full albums, getting the full effect of everything. You want to hear everything, because like when radio happens, we get singles, and they're usually always good songs. But I always find something that I'm like, man, I wish this would have been a single instead, because this is the one that I personally like, more. And I think we're all kind of like that a little bit. So some of your favorite no skip albums, some of your favorite complete albums. So like from start to finish, the albums you put on, and you don't touch anything else. You let the entire record play.
For me, okay, a lot of POD albums. So I do have Fable and Death. I think the album is called Fable and Death. That's one of the albums I have been listening, I think, all through, just like one thing, and it felt like just a few songs, because it's every song just hits me. Yeah, and I think also was Flyleaf album, could it be once also? Yeah, but when I was a teenager, it always was like that. I would fall asleep with albums, because there was, if I like the band, I listen to all the album. What else can I listen? Yeah, I think for me it's actually a lot. Under Oath also, I had this thing when I listened to albums, and yeah, so I'm really like an album person. Shouldn't ask me. Shouldn't ask me.
No, it's great. When I worked at a different station, we used to do as a blog post, and we had people write out the albums, and told some people like, hey, feel free to share a couple sentences of why this album's important. And some people would write paragraphs like this big about every single one, and it was just like, they're like, I just had a lot to say. I'm like, no, that's perfectly fine. Feel free to share as much as you want about it, which is always cool. And it's the albums that speak to you, and obviously you put them on. You don't want to you don't want to skip anything. So Max, do you have a few of them as well? Some no skips?
No, I think I'm more a song person. I haven't listened for a full album actually in a while.
That happens every once in a while. We have some people that are like, well, I have songs, I don't remember the title, but I like them. And I'm like, hey, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine as well. But again, excited to get you guys on the air for the first time here on QLZ in Springfield. And again, Tuesday, September 2nd, 8:30, 1:30, 7:30. And if people want to follow, the band, when you have more things coming up, when you're hitting more places in Europe, what's a good website people can follow you at, socials, all that good stuff? Feel free to plug that.
Yes, definitely. The listeners can follow us on all the social media. We are all the streaming platforms. We also have a website. We have a shop. We have like everything, like nowadays you haven't. We would be just happy, yes, for people also. They can write us, and we are also responsive if someone wants to write anything or ask. And
just search for Rising Alma, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Our website is also risingalma.com.
Yeah.
You will find it.
Awesome.
Easy to find us with the name.
Yeah, you type in Rising Alma, there's really nothing else that pops up. It's very, like when you're doing your research on bands, it's very nice when that happens. When you just type into Google, the band comes up, it's like, oh sweet, the first like 9 links are all about them. It's everything that I would need to know about them. It's always nice. So again, Tuesday, September 2nd, Rising Alma, Artist Spotlight, track called Games. Looking forward to having you all on there. So Max, Alise, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you for your time. Yeah.
Thank you very much.